Alright, so because today's video is gonna be pretty serious and possibly a longer one, I'm gonna skip the formalities and just jump straight into this video idea that I had for today. I have my phone here with some of the points that I was going to make. Now, if you've been following the news for the past 2 days or so, you would notice that some tensions have risen regarding Syria, Russia, and the United States. Um, all of that began with the chemical attack that happened in Syria 2 days ago. The United States was quick to blame it on Assad and the Syrian government for deploying a chemical deterrent to poison its own people. Russia, on the other hand, have come out with a statement saying that the Syrian government had nothing to do with the poisoning, nor did Russia themselves. So the question still remains: who fired the or who is responsible for the chemical attack? Uh, Most of you who have a reasonable mind and possess critical thinking and common sense would come to the conclusion that why, or first of all, you would ask yourselves the question: why would Assad attack his own people in a period where he and the Russian sort of alliance that exists have managed to almost completely eradicate ISIS from Syria? All that is left now are some hotspots filled with so-called moderate opposition, but we all know that they aren't moderate at all. They receive weapons from the United States to battle the Syrian military forces. So, in a way, they pose a security threat to the Syrian government. Now, I'm not the one to pick sides on who is right or wrong, but in this particular situation, I can't really side with Trump and the United States, but more I can stand behind Assad and Russia, because Russia 2 months ago warned the world that a imminent chemical attack upon Syria was bound to happen. And then the ambassador to the United Nations of USA, Nikki Haley, uh, made a statement saying that if a chemical attack does happen, we're gonna blame it on Assad. Okay, that's fucking smart thing to do, right? Without any sort of thinking, we're blaming it on Assad. But hey, Miss Haley, it was the rebels that launched the attack. Doesn't matter. Assad is the one to blame. Fucking genius, right? So let's let's just begin by explaining what's currently going on in Syria. The current situation is the ISIS, as should I say, yeah, the ISIS paramilitary suffers great defeats in every single battle between the Syrian regime forces and the Russians. Uh, I don't know if the United States, with their alliance, had anything to do in the past period. I'm not too well informed on that, so if anyone that is watching this is informed on that, please leave it in the comments below. So ISIS is suffering great defeat. Turkey, on the other hand, on the border between Turkey and Syria, is battling the Kurdish, as they say, terrorist group. So Assad is pretty much untouched by that. Although some civilians have suffered, which Assad has condemned Turkey for, there has been no major clashes between Syrian regime forces and the Turkish military, so that's good. Mm, and yeah, ISIS is suffering great defeats. People get the idea that Syria is not becoming calmer, but slowly and ever so slowly, peace is kind of beginning to come back in Syria. And so, President Trump announces 2 3 days ago that the United States is planning to retreat from Syria, which was good news. I think every single supporter or even non-supporter of Donald Trump, even those people who are essentially against Trump but also against military intervention in Syria, praised the decision for the U.S. to leave Syria. And a day goes by, and after that, we have this chemical attack that comes out of nowhere in the most convenient of times, just when Donald Trump announced that the United States is pulling out of Syria. Now, uh, let's take all three major aspects that have some sort of influence here, and let's decide which is the more reasonable. Let's take it from Assad. Assad hears that Donald Trump is planning to pull out from Syria. Does he think that that is a good decision from Trump? I would reckon he thinks that that is a good idea and he applauds it. Would he would he launch a chemical attack that would result in containing the United States troops in Syria for a longer period of time? I don't think so. If that is the case, then Assad is the most stupid man on this planet, stupider than Hillary Clinton, which I believe that he's not. I believe that he's a stoic, intelligent man. Yes, maybe he did some things wrong to the Syrian people, but who are the Russians and the Americans to decide his fate? Nobody. They are nobody. So, would Assad decide to chemically attack his people, which would result in the United States Army or troops that have been deployed to Syria to stay? No, I don't think so. Would the Russians then, that have also been briefed or debriefed on the U.S. pullout from Syria, would they launch a chemical attack to make the U.S. troops stay in Syria? No, I don't think so. Would the Americans, would Donald Trump order a chemical attack on civilians and then blame it on Assad that he is the animal or he is the dictator and that the U.S. troops should stay there, and he threatens that he would he would order a missile strike on Syrian soil? Probably, probably, but we have to consider his last statement, which was, "We are pulling out of Syria," and then the chemical attack. Now, from his campaign, I remember during his campaign and even before that, he had interviews with all sorts of people, saying that why are we still in Syria? Why don't we let Russia deal with things in Syria? So, if this chemical attack is a decision by Donald Trump, then he completely undermines everything that he has said so far. And I don't believe that Donald Trump is a man to undermine what he previously states. I really don't believe that he is that kind of a man, a hypocrite. What I think is either the deep state or someone with very close ties to the rebels in Syria, or maybe even the extremist groups, someone like John McCain and those kind of people, probably ordered this attack. So this is what the current situation is. The main players in Syria right now, or the big macho man states that are playing with the Syrian people, or should I say, not playing with, but just playing with the Syrian people, um, are the United States and their allied forces. It's Russia, and accompanied with the Syrian regime forces. And should I say Turkey? No, I don't think I should say Turkey. But okay, let's say ISIS. Those are the three big macho man guys. ISIS has suffered greatly in the past period, and I mean greatly. They've lost, I think, 95 or 96% of the territory that they owned up to this point. So ISIS could potentially have the resources to launch a chemical attack, but I don't think that they will decide on such a tactic. For me, the smartest thing would be the moderate opposition, which is a puppet of the deep state, to launch a chemical attack like this on the Syrian people, blame it on Assad. Then, as a chain reaction, Donald Trump blames Assad for the chemical attack. Nikki Haley, that said 2 months before that if a chemical attack happens, we are blaming Assad, and that's final. Why? To increase tensions between Syria and the United States and allied forces, and by doing so, increase tensions between US and their allies and Russia, in order to spark a global war. A global war that would be so devastating and deadly that I don't know. When that shit happens, if that shit happens, which I pray to God it doesn't, but if that happens, humanity will take decades, if not a century, to kind of come back from all that disastrous, from all those disastrous events. Because how would this escalate into a global thing? Here's how. United States and their military that has been deployed to the coast of Syria. Let's say it launches a missile strike on Latakia, the Russian base, or launches an attack on a strategically important position for the Syrian regime forces. Syria will be bound to retaliate. There will be no alternative other than to retaliate, and maybe the Russians with them as well. If that happens, if the United States strikes Syria, then Russia in return will bomb the United States. And I'm not even kidding. I think it has come to the point where Russia has been time and time again kept giving warnings to the United States. Listen, don't meddle in Syria. Let us handle it. Something that Donald Trump himself said prior to the election campaign. Why don't we let Russia handle things in Syria? Why are we still there? That's you're giving more than a reason enough for Russia to strike you. Like, this is the situation, and I'm gonna put it as in the simplest way possible. There's a giant sleeping, and you're poking it with a stick. The giant opens one eye and says, "Dude, leave me alone. I'm really tired. I have had a lot of work, so let me rest a little bit, please." Then you kind of back off for a minute or two, half an hour. Then you come back and you poke the giant again. But you're blaming some other entity in the room. I don't know, some other guy in the room. The giant opens his eyes, both of them now, and says, "Look, I know it's you. Stop it. Otherwise, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna destroy this whole castle, and everyone is going to die, including me." Then a third time happens. The giant gets mad, strikes you, which the guy who's been poking the giant with the stick all the time so far, and in a burst of rage destroys the castle and every single one of them that are trapped inside. This is what's happening in Syria right now. The sleeping giant is Syria and Russia. The guy with the stick that is poking the giant is the rebels, the deep state, and to a certain degree the United States. And by the United States, I mean the United States administration of President Donald Trump. That's how I see this. So now I like to mention the recent political shifts that happened in Russia and the US. We know that a while ago, the Secretary of Defense to the United States, Rex Tillerson, was fired by Donald J. Trump, and I think in his place, Mike Pompeo, the head of the CIA, replaced him. Bad idea, even though I think Trump said that he and Mike Pompeo are good friends, are close friends. Really? Is that a good thing? I don't think so. And then, as a national security advisor, he, or maybe it's the other way around, don't get me wrong, I did not have, I mean, I had the time to check on the correct info, but I just could not be asked. I just wanted to get through this video quickly, and by quickly I'm being sarcastic. This is going on for quite a long now. And as a national security advisor or something else, maybe head of Department of State, he assigns John Bolton. John Bolton, the guy that's responsible for the remarkably absurd Iraq war. So he has two guys, Mike Pompeo and John Bolton, who are askew, if you ask me. They are kind of an offset to what Donald Trump wants to have as his administration. These are neocons. These are people hungry for war. These are people who profit out of the war economy. Who funds the rebels? Who trains the rebels in Syria? The CIA. Who is the head of the CIA? Mike Pompeo. What the fuck? And the political shift in Russia, I don't think that there is any shift, since taking into consideration that Putin won again in the recent Russian presidential elections. So nothing has changed so far, but I'm sensing a more not aggressive, but okay, yeah, sure. Let's say aggressive foreign policy from Russia. So maybe that has changed a little bit. Um, and so we come to Syria again. The overall situation in the region is as it goes. Turkey is stated in the border between Syria and Turkey, fighting the Kurdish terrorist group. We have the United States and the Allied forces, which are UK, France, uh, Brussels, that are fighting ISIS at some point, and now I think that they are static. But if this escalates, I think they will undoubtedly head and attack the Syrian regime forces. Then we have the Russians that are helping Assad. Uh, how should I put this? Retain, in a sense, or reclaim um the government, the state that he once ruled over. Because as I see it, Assad is just a man there, no power whatsoever. It's like a no man's land in Syria. If Assad was calling the shots, no one would be there. Not the Russians, or yeah, maybe the Russians because Syria is their ally, but not Turkey, not the Americans, not Israel that launched airstrikes yesterday. Great idea from Israel, fucking morons. Um, yeah, Assad is just a man there, and he's just getting bombarded with decisions from Russia, from the United States, and he's like, "Can you guys just fucking stop? Help me reclaim my throne, so I can fix this goddamn place." It's been torn to shreds since the beginning of the civil war in Syria. Then ISIS, Syria has suffered great damage. Not just capital damage, but also many people have died. Over 500,000. 500,000 from the civil war, and I'm not, and those are that have been counted so far. When is enough? When are you going to become aware that you're killing innocent people there for a regime change? Now, as I stated before, I'm not supporting Assad. No. Who is Assad? I don't even know the guy. He's not the president of me. But you're acting so fucking childish and so fucking ignorant that a guy, a third party that is observing all of this should be, hey, this guy Assad is offering a great deal, and his people. Fuck the USA and fuck the Russians as well. Stop this. Stop this. There is no reason for all of this. What you had in set up as a goal to destroy ISIS is done. Now get the fuck out of there. Let the Syrian people return to their homes and find peace once again. Jesus fucking Christ. And now I come to the main point to the video. The chemical attack is a false flag tool used as a tool to ignite the region and possibly the world. Here's what I mean about this. This chemical attack, as I mentioned before, comes in a so convenient of times. Just when Donald Trump announces the US is pulling out of Syria, a chemical attack happens to escalate tensions between Russia and the United States even fucking more. And I'm so pissed about this because I'm fucking tired of tensions and threats. Oh, I'm gonna fire a nuclear missile on your ass. My button is bigger than yours. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Are you mental? Are you actually fucking mental? A chemical attack like this, which out of all people gets blamed on Assad, the man, as I said once again, has no power. He has no power in his own country. Can you not see this? Can you not realize this? Realize this? The Syrian regime forces is all that he has. Are you saying to me that the military that is supposed to defend the sovereignty and the well-being of the state attack their own people? Again, are you fucking mental? I'm getting so pissed over this because I'm sick and tired of hearing about Syria and chemical attacks and children dying and innocent people crying and watching on the news all those disturbing images. Like, don't you have any common sense and any fucking sympathy? And I'm not a liberal spastic that says, oh, emotions, we should do policy through emotions. No. But in this kind of situation, you have to have a little bit of sympathy, reason, and critical thinking. Would Assad genuinely order a chemical attack on his people? Fuck no. Fucking hell no. And that's all I have to say. Blame or find the guilt some other place. It's not Assad, it's not Russia, and it's not Donald Trump. So who is it? Either the deep state or the rebels. Blame the fucking deep state. Call them out. As you are seeing on my screen, and this is not the tweet that I'm gonna say. I have some more stuff to show you, but I just can't get through my notes because I'm so fucking pissed. Call out the fucking deep state on your Twitter. Slam their face. Not fucking Assad. Blame the person that is truly the one to blame. And I said, how could this chemical attack be used as a tool to ignite the region? Well, as most of you have heard, I presume, last night or 2 days ago, I'm not really sure, the Israeli Air Force conducted airstrikes on Syrian soil, on Syrian bases. Great fucking job. That worsens even more the Syria, Israel, USA, and in the end Russia relations even more, and raises tensions to a critical point of escalation. And let's also not forget, warships have been deployed to the Syrian coast. UK warships, US warships, The Russian base Latakia is has received high alert messages or messages to contain or to behave on a high alert state. We had I heard on Infowars that planes have been flying in and out of the Syrian airspace. It it takes only a pebble to move in the wrong way in order things to go array, in order shit to hit the fan. And if that starts, and if that major escalation in Syria starts, don't forget the United States and their allies. They will strike also the Russian forces. The Russians have their allies as well. Syria, Iran, they will join in as well. China as well. And that step by step, globally, we're gonna have a World War III, which would, as a Russian military advisor, I've heard him talk on a radio show. He said, if we have a World War III, that would be the last and most destructive war that humankind has ever seen. Do you want that? Do you fucking maniacs want that? I certainly don't. I cherish life. I'm sure Vladimir Putin cherishes life. I'm sure Assad cherishes life, and I'm also sure that you, Donald Trump, you also cherish life. So why do it? Why do it? Pull out from Syria and let Russia deal with all the shenanigans there. And you focus on your homework and on the promise that you gave the voters and all the people throughout the world that you are gonna destroy the deep state. So far, we've seen nothing. Nothing. We've seen Mueller raiding your attorney's office. Really? Are you gonna allow that? You should fucking fire Mueller without even a second thought. Who the fuck does he think he is? Fire his ass and move on with clearing the swamp. Or no, it was hashtag drain the swamp. Yeah. What happened to all of that? Jesus Christ. And as a final point, I have marked here, make a plea for peace. So here it goes. If anyone is watching this, or to those who are watching this, share this video. Make sure it is being watched by as many people as possible. I'm not doing this for the views. Fuck that. I'm doing this for the sake of humanity, for the sake of peace, for the sake of prosperity and hope that we are better than this. That we can do better than this. That we can achieve greater things. We need war no more. 2 world wars that were catastrophic. Millions of victims. First we had National Socialism. We defeated that. We had communism. We defeated that. Let's defeat this evil right now. The globalists. Let's join forces. Russia, United States, the UK, France, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Japan, South Korea, North Korea. Let's all join forces and defeat the globalists. Because that would be a victory worthy in the history books. That victory, which I'm sure that we will be able to achieve, will be praised for generations upon generations. And you, the people who are leaders right now, will be remembered as heroes. As heroes who fought for the future of mankind. For the future of this great planet, this one planet that we have. Why do we want to impose such a destruction to a planet that's been so kind to us, that has given us land to live on and live off of? Be reasonable. Stop this. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You will achieve absolutely nothing. Or actually, the only thing that you would achieve is public outrage, and the people, those that have cast their vote for you, Donald J. Trump, for you, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, and Bashar al-Assad, and everyone else that decides to get themselves involved in this horror show. The people will be the ones who decide your fate. Mark my words. The population, the global population, doesn't want a devastating nuclear world war. And if that starts, your heads will be the first one to roll. The leaders. So that's why I'm making this plea for peace. Stop it. There are more important things that you should be focused on. We have things that are left undiscovered, unchecked, not yet learned or studied. Space. Do you think that we know space from A to Z? No. We have only a tiny fraction. We only know a tiny fraction. Why not focus your efforts on space and not arms race and not the war economy? Deal with the globalists so that global peace may be restored on this planet, and focus on space for the sake of humankind. Please. Alright folks, that was my last or final plea for peace. Let's go over the news and what some tweets I gathered from Twitter. Here's the Donald Trump tweeting 2 hours ago saying, "Our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War. There is no reason for this. Russia needs us to help with their economy, something that would be very easy to do, and we need all nations to work together. Stop the arms race? Really? Really? After the Twitter storm that you went upon yesterday, what? Fucking what? So right now you're calling for peace, or not peace, but hey, look, I was just joking yesterday, so let's just drop it. Really, Donald? Really? But yeah, I agree. Stop the arms race. Yes, immediately, right now. No one is arming anything. No one is sending ships anywhere. No one is sending airstrikes anywhere. Stop it. Return your military to your fucking home country and order them to stay there. Syria can deal with their problems on their own. Assad has his people and his military to deal with any sort of rebels, any sort of terrorist groups, and you should be the ones to support him in doing that. And you, Donald J. Trump, our relationship with Russia is worse now. Yeah, no fucking way. When you threaten to attack Syria, they're a very close ally. What do you think is gonna happen? Stop with these proxy wars on Russian and US allies. It has never worked, and it will never work. We had Hillary Clinton as a proof of that. Obama, the fucking nigger who can't run a fucking foreign policy right. Libya, completely demolished and destroyed. Plunged into chaos and disarray. We had Iraq, we had Afghanistan, we had Egypt, Palestine, and now Syria? Stop it. For fuck's sake. Everyone was happy when, I mean, not everyone, but the majority of the world, and I'm talking about the world, Mr. Trump, was happy when you won. Especially the Balkan people. Shout out to my Balkan people, if anyone out there is watching. Shout out to you, my man. The Balkan people have seen the true face of the Clinton cartel. They don't have rational and well-meaning thoughts. They are fucking evil to their very core. All they want to see is destruction and chaos. That's what they profit out of. Okay, let's go to the next tweet. Much of the bad blood, and this is a tweet that he tweeted 26 minutes ago. Much of the bad blood with Russia is caused by the fake and corrupt Russia investigation, headed up by the all Democrat loyalists or people that work for Obama. Mueller is most conflicted of all, except Rosenstein, who signed FISA and Comey letter. No collusion, so they go crazy. Well, what the fuck are you doing sending ships in Syria? What the fuck? Fire Mueller. Start arresting all these Obama people, Rosenstein. Arrest Obama as well. Hillary as well. Hillary should be the first one to be arrested. The first one for military or for war crimes in Libya. A military tribunal would be the least offensive, how should I say, decision for her. Military tribunal for people like John McCain, Hillary Clinton, and fucking Obama. Comey, sure, he can go to prison for life. Jesus Christ, but focus on that. Leave Syria alone. Jesus fuck. Then we have another tweet 2 hours ago. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Well, you think? Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Oh my fucking god. I wanna hit this guy in the face. Listen, Donald Trump. As much as I like you, I have to be angry with you on this one and kind of take Russia's side. Saying that Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Hmm. I wonder. I wonder what would be the US's choice if Russia threatens to fire missiles in, say, Saudi Arabia or, say, Israel. You would act the same way. You fucking lunatic. Syria is their ally. What did you expect? That they would be like, oh yeah, sure, you can fire your missiles away, Mr. Trump. We wouldn't block you in any way possible. No, 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 we're not gonna shoot down any missiles. No, 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 we want to see more death there. Our ally, pfft, fuck him. Really, Donald? Like, what the fuck? Who is advising you on foreign policies like these? John Bolton, I reckon. Who else? Maybe Mike Pompeo. Those two fucking morons that you should fire immediately. Immediately. And maybe possibly arrest. Then he says, get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. Okay, that is a threat. That is a genuine threat, not just to Syria, but Russian military bases. So be careful with what you're saying. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Really? So now Assad is worse than Hitler? Because Hitler, as far as I remember studying about him, he never killed his own people. He killed the Jews, yes. He killed anyone that wasn't a Nazi, but he didn't kill his people. The most evil man, as he is known in history books, never laid a single hand on his people. So, is Assad worse than Hitler? No, I don't think he is. I think Assad is disappointed. I think Assad is a sad man, a broken man, from all the destruction and devastation that you guys have brought upon him. So this gas-killing animal, sure, it would fit as a nickname for Hitler, because he killed Jews in gas chambers, but not Assad, Mr. Trump. You are wrong. You are way off the line wrong. And after a tweet like this, you then have the audacity to say our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War. There is no reason for this, really. I get the impression that you have either you are hysterical or a schizo, or someone else is using your Twitter when you're not around. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you should not worry about Syria. The Russians will handle Syria and Assad will stay in power. Yes, I do believe that. I believe with Assad staying in power, Syria will stabilize in due time. But regime change will not help anyone whatsoever. Moving on, I just wanted to show you guys some of the news articles. No. Okay, here we go. As Russia warns against U.S. strike, Trump threatens missiles. The tweet that I showed you just now. Defying Russian warnings against U.S. military strikes in Syria, President Donald Trump said Wednesday that missiles will be coming. What a fucking idiot. In response to Syria's suspected chemical attack that killed at least 40 people. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Trump tweeted, "Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it." Again, Assad is not the one to blame here, Mr. President. No, 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 no. Whew. Let's skim through this article because this video is going on for too long now. The tweet drew a quick response from Russia's foreign ministry, as it should. Spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said on Facebook that smart missiles would destroy any evidence of a suspected chemical weapons attack. The term smart missile dates to the introduction decades ago of weapons with advanced guidance systems, for example, using GPS, to achieve greater precision in targeting. In other words, he's planning to use drones. The term was meant to contrast with dumb bombs lacking such technology. Dumb bombs meaning they're gonna fire them in a traditional way from a cannon on a ship or something. Lacking such technology. Virtually all US missiles now have advanced guidance systems. Russian lawmakers earlier warned the United States that Moscow would view an airstrike on Syria as a war crime, and they should treat it as such, saying it could trigger a direct military clash between the two former Cold War adversaries. True, very true indeed. Russia's ambassador to Lebanon said any missiles fired at Syria would be shot down and the launching sites targeted. A stark warning of a potential major confrontation in Syria, as I said as well. A missile fired directly at Syria, Russia would take it as a threat towards them, and they will attack the U.S. like directly, and that would cause a World War III that would be the deadliest one so far. Trump's tweets Wednesday also delivered a mixed message, not unusual for the mercurial president. Shortly after warning that missiles were coming, Trump tweeted that the U.S. relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been. Okay, we know that. This is a pretty big article. It's on the Associated Press News. You can go and check it out. Then we have some on the BBC, Syria war, what we know about the Duma chemical attack. Syrian opposition activists, rescue workers and medics say more than 40 people were killed on Saturday in a suspected chemical attack on Duma, the last rebel-held town in the eastern Ghouta region. So it was the last rebel-held town. When victory was so nigh for the Syrian government, a chemical strike attacks. Really? And you blame Assad. Fucking genius. Why was Duma being bombed? In February, forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad launched an assault on the eastern Ghouta that has reportedly left more than 1,700 civilians dead. In March, troops split the region into three pockets, the largest of which was around Duma, home to between 80,000 and 150,000 people. Facing defeat, rebel groups in the other two pockets agreed to be evacuated to northern Syria, where Turkish forces are installed. Yes, but the group controlling Duma, Jaish al-Islam, continued to hold out. On Friday, after negotiations with the government stalled, airstrikes resumed. What happened on Saturday? The bombardment continued on Saturday, with dozens of people reportedly killed or injured by conventional munitions before the suspected chemical attack. Activists from the Violations Documentation Center, which records alleged violations of international law in Syria, reported two separate incidents of bombs believed to contain toxic substances being dropped by the Syrian Air Force. Wrong. And I will tell you why this is wrong. As you all know, this is the BBC. They are pushing the narrative of the globalists. They want war. They are trying to portray Assad as the beast here, as the animal that needs to be killed. He's not. The first occurred at approximately 1600 and saw a bakery on Omar ibn Al-Khattab, I hope I pronounced that right, street in northwestern Duma targeted, the VDC said. Um, Activists say Duma came under intense aerial bombardment on Saturday. Alright? It cited a rescue worker from the Syria civil defense as saying he smelled chlorine in the air after the strike, but that he could not determine its source. We later discovered the bodies of people who had suffocated from toxic gases. They were in closed spaces sheltering from the barrel bombs, which may have caused their quick death as no one heard their screams. He added. The VDC said the second incident took place not far to the east at approximately 1930 when Martyrs Square was hit. At 1945, more than 500 patients, most of them women and children, were brought to medical facilities with symptoms indicative of exposure to a chemical agent, according to the Syria Civil Defense and the Syrian American Medical Society, a relief organization that supports hospitals. Let us remember that there was an article from Sputnik or Russia Today that said over 40 tons of chemical deterrent was found in the possession of ISIS or rebels or rebel-held bases. That was reported, I think, either a week ago or so. I'm not really sure. So, yeah, just keep an eye out on that. Not the Syrian Air Force, but the moderate opposition, as the news like to call them. And also, yes, the Prime Minister to UK, Theresa May, she has to come up with a decision on Syria. I do hope that she decides to stand down and not play this disgusting game that would bring so much death that I don't know, people will as I said, humanity will struggle to recover from that for decades, maybe even a century. So let's all use our logic here, please. Also, we have Trump warns Russia on Syrian missile threat. Okay, we've covered that so far. Okay, oh snap. Trump blames Democrats' fake investigation for bad blood with Russia. We covered that as well in this video. Yeah, I pretty much covered everything that I had planned to cover. Trump warns Russia missiles are coming. We also covered that. I also have this from Fox News. Announcement on US action in Syria is imminent. This was uploaded on April 10th, 2018, yesterday. So I think today they would come out with a announcement on what their decision is. So keep an eye on that. I pray for the sake of humanity. I pray for humanity as a whole, regardless of race, religion, political aspirations. Just let's fight for peace. Like, let's forget the left and the right. Let's just fight for peace this time. Thank you guys for watching. Share this video as much as you can. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel. I'll make sure to update you on this topic, on this situation, as frequently as I can. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.